Richard Schultz, aka Short Stories by Richard. Who is Richard? Richard is a writer of all sorts. He loves to write, so he has created this website called Short Stories by Richard, so that he could have one place to publish all of his small pieces. He also has a blog called Fully Man Stories to post a bunch of silly and tentative stories about ordinary life, wordplay, nonsense, absurdity, and sheer fun. Richard has another website called Cool San Diego Sites and two other blogs called A Small World Full of Beauty and Beautiful Balboa Park. One sample of his writing that we'll be looking at is called 1,000 Likes. 1,000 likes. Sylvia was right on schedule. She sat on the light rail in a seat that faced an empty seat. Her head was bowed over her phone. Her finger moved rapidly. An image of two people hugging on a bench. The words, "Hugging is a silent way of saying, you matter to me." Sylvia touched like. The light rail decelerated at Ocean Avenue. A small crowd of people got off. A small crowd of people boarded. Nobody sat down in the seat opposite Sylvia. An image of the Dalai Lama, the words, "If you want others to be happy, practice compassion." Sylvia touched like. The light rail accelerated. It was still very early morning, not quite rush hour. Nobody talked. People in the car bowed their heads over their phones. An image of the sun rising behind mountains. The words, "Father, give me a heart of integrity and compassion." Sylvia touched like. Outside, the sun had just begun to rise. It reflected from the windows of numberless buildings. It promised to be a warm day. At times, sunlight blinked into the light rail car. An image of somebody helping a homeless person. The words, "Be the reason someone smiles today." Sylvia touched like. The light rail decelerated at the next station. A funny image of a cat standing in 4 enormous human boots. The words, "Empathy cats wants to walk in your shoes." Sylvia touched like. An old woman labored onto the light rail, towing a cart full of bulging plastic bags and a rolled sleeping bag. She wore a dirty green jacket, soiled pants, and boots. A happy image of people looking at a skyline. The words, "Life is not about the quantity of friends you have, it's about the quality of the friends you have." Sylvia touched like. The old woman sat down in the seat directly opposite Sylvia. An image of a young lady walking through the world with her hair flying. The words, "I am not lucky, I am blessed." Sylvia touched like. Sylvia's eyes were fixed on her phone. She scrolled through hundreds of images with her restless finger. Once in a while, she would pause for a second, indulge in her own reaction. Sometimes she would laugh. An image of the boy in The Sixth Sense. The words, "I see nitwits, no compassion, no empathy, no brains, just nitwits." Sylvia touched like. An image of someone sitting on a bench. The words, "Wrinkles mean you laughed. Gray hair means you cared. The scars mean you lived." Sylvia touched like. The old woman stared down at her boots. Her wrinkled hands, folded lightly on her lap, trembled. Her lips moved slightly, as though she wanted to speak. Sylvia looked at the next image. She read more words. She touched like. The light rail decelerated. The old woman stood up slowly, struggled to turn her cart full of bulging plastic bags and the rolled sleeping bag, just managed to board against the pushing crowd. Sylvia's fingers summoned 1,000 passing images. She touched like. After reading this short story over and over again, I noticed that the recurring theme going on was scrolling and liking. There were things going on in the background, but played no part in the story. With this old woman being part of the story, it shows how little we pay attention to the real world and are so consumed with social media. In class, we talk a lot about the reasonings behind we like posts, and I think Sylvia, while she did have reasoning behind liking the post as she did, she still liked thousands of posts. Nosedive. I relate the story back to the Black Mirror episode Nosedive. In the episode, it was these little interactions, and right after came a rate. In this story, Sylvia interacted in the slightest bit and then hit like.